Now, 2 weeks ago, we talked about the 8 types of auto insurance coverage, okay?
Yeah.
So we did 3 of them, which were really the most important and the most well-known, which were liability, that you have to have. That's the minimum in Texas.
Yes.
Then we talked about collision
Yes.
and comprehensive.
Yes.
Comprehensive being if a tree branch falls on you while you're driving, something out of your control, that would be covered. Collision is more like where you have something under your control. For example, the tree branch falls down, you swerve out of the way, and you hit a pole. That's more in your control, so that would be under collision. Collision's more expensive. I mean, comprehensive is not as much. And when they talk about full coverage, that usually means all 3: liability, comprehensive, and also collision. Okay? So let's move on to the other types of insurance. There's 5. They're smaller than the other ones.
Yes, and one thing I want to mention is that anytime that we talk to any of our clients, when they come in about a car accident, one of the questions we have is, have you looked at your declaration page on your insurance policy? The majority says no. I usually either throw away that paper, I don't even look at it.
Or they just sign whatever their agent tells them to sign.
Or just file it away or put it away. That's your policy. Like, that's the one you want to look at really, really close. So whenever you get that packet in the mail after you renew your policy, if you don't understand what it says, give us a call, come in and talk to Don. He'll go over it with you to make sure you understand what kind of coverage you have and make sure that you have exactly what you need.
That's right. And don't forget that, I know the VIP program that we haven't really mentioned that lately, but you can go to the website. We also have something here, but you can, and anybody can be a VIP. So just let us know, contact us through the website. But you get a free consultation. I think it's 15 minutes for, review of something.
Review your policy.
So we can review the policy with you. So please take advantage of that, because I can tell you most people really don't know what they should get.
Or they don't know what they're paying for. They just know their insurance is expensive, and a lot of the times you're paying for something you have and you need, but you don't know that you can use it. A lot of the times,
true.
You think you have a coverage that you might not have, and you thought you were paying for it, and when you need it, you don't have it. So make sure that whenever you get that declaration page in the mail, give us a call immediately and set up an appointment to come in and talk to this guy, and he can go over it with you, okay?
Yeah, and it's no charge. We want you to have the right coverage, of course. And it's hard to read those. I remember first seeing those policies and seeing all the letters
I had
and
no
numbers.
idea. And so he taught me how to read those, declaration pages and really be looking out for this information and, policy limits and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it takes, time to learn, but it's something that is, once you understand it, it's very easy to know and to be able to pass it on to your kids or, other family members.
Yeah, I think that, and we're going to go over these type of coverages, but especially personal injury protection, especially Under-insured Motorist protection, and also Uninsured Motorist coverage. So those will be the top 3 things we covered today, and I think we'll still have time to go over the other ones. I think they're very brief.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So let's start off. There's a type of insurance that I don't recommend that is offered. It's called a medical payment type of coverage. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say a lot of the times people get this MedPay. Well, this is the short for medical payment, but a lot of the times they get it because they think, oh, this is good for me. This will pay for any medical expenses. Okay, but there's a catch.
Yeah, and it does pay for some. So a lot of people, of course, don't have health insurance, and it will help. But the catch is that you have to pay it back. So let's assume that you have a wreck and and I'm just throwing out numbers, okay? You have $10,000 in medical bills, okay? So of course you make a demand over to the person who's responsible for the wreck. So let's say you get $15,000 out of it, okay? So you're actually required to pay back the medical payment money.
So if you had made a claim on your MedPay policy, then let's say that they pay you $2,500, $2,500,
from the MedPay.
From the MedPay, and whenever you receive a payment from another, the responsible party's insurance, they expect you to pay that back to them. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. And so I really don't like it just for that reason. It's better than nothing, but when you have the option of getting personal injury protection, and we'll explain why it's better, then that's really the way to go. It seems to me, though, that for some reason agents kind of push people over to the MedPay. I'm guessing because it's cheaper. People are obviously very concerned about money, and insurance can be expensive.
If you know, from what I've seen, a lot of the the declaration pages that I've seen, the MedPay is no different than personal injury protection. I mean, it's like very, very minimal. I mean, I've seen it for $5 a month, $8, 10, 12. So I mean, it's very affordable, I think, for the benefit that it brings.
Now, with personal injury protection, and we call that PIP, it is something that will not only help you with medical, but also it can help you with 80% of lost wages. And even if somebody had to come take care of you, like a caregiver, you can get some money for that too. Now, the minimum policy, if you get it, okay, is $2,500, just like the MedPay. All right, you can get much more than that.
Yes. You can.
We've seen mostly 2,500. That's the standard, but we see them up to 5,000.
5,000, 10,000. We've seen, a few. So it just depends. It depends on what kind of coverage you think, you feel that you need. And again, if you don't even know that you have it, or look at your declaration page from your automobile policy. And if you don't know where to find it, give us a call, come in, and, let Dawn review it with you and make sure that you understand what kind of coverage you have.
But let's explain why it's different.
All right.
Than MedPay.
Okay.
Okay. So we know in MedPay, it's $2,500 if you get this coverage. It's $2,500 minimum. Okay. So you get that, and you make some money, then you're going to pay it back. With PIP, you don't do that. With PIP, you're going to get the $2,500. And you don't have to pay it back. So when the responsible party, you settle with them, or you go to trial, whatever it is, when you get the money, you don't have to pay that back. And so, I hate to say it as like double dipping, but it's, there's a benefit there. Now, I will say that you have to remember this is something you're paying for, extra for.
Exactly.
And some people are saying, oh, no, I don't want to, make a claim against my own insurance for that. But that's why you have it there. It's there, don't be afraid to use it.
Yes.
The same thing with underinsured motorists and uninsured motorists. I do want to go back just for a second. The state of Texas obviously says you have to have liability. But they also make you sign something if you reject personal injury protection and if you reject uninsured motorists or underinsured motorists. That's how important they feel these three types of coverage are.
Yes.
So make sure you really think about it. It's so easy just to sign it. But you really need these three types. I'm going to keep on hitting on it. Personal injury protection, underinsured motorist, and uninsured motorist. You really need all three of those. And we're going to go over the other two, but it's just really not that expensive to do this.
It's not. And it brings when you need it, it really brings the extra protection that you need. And
right.
This kind of situation when you're involved in an accident. And again, we hear it all the time. When we talk about their policies and we say, we can make a claim on and get this PIP money for you. And they say, no, but I don't want to make a claim on my insurance. Then why would you be paying for it? I mean, that's the whole point of it, Otherwise, all you're doing is giving the insurance company money.
And we don't like to do that.
Month to month.
We don't want you to do that at all. We don't like the insurance company.
The other reason why people hesitate is because they say, I do not want my policy to increase. Like, I don't want my insurance premium to go up. Well, here is, what do you call it? The reality is, whether you're a good driver or not, your policy is still going to increase every time you renew. Your premium never stays the same, whether you get a ticket or not, whether you're involved in an accident or not, your premium will still be increased every single time you renew. So why, if you're going to make a claim, do it. Don't be afraid. As long as you understand the process, don't be afraid.
Right, absolutely. Let's move on, okay? All right, so let me just say this. If you're in somebody else's vehicle, your own insurance still can cover you. So if they don't have coverage for something, your insurance still can cover, or it could be stacked. So if somebody else has PIP, that's driving the vehicle and you're in their car, you can make a claim against their PIP and your own PIP.
Your own.
And there's some other coverages you can do that with too, but I just wanted to point that out.
So an example, if I'm in somebody else's vehicle and we're involved in an accident and they have personal injury protection and I also have personal injury protection on my policy, I can make a claim on both.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's there for. Don't feel shy about this. The insurance companies make billions of dollars. This is money you pay to them. Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're paying for it anyway.
That's right. So they would love it if you don't use it. They love people who just pay it in and
that's
never
how
do
they
it.
make their money.
Okay, so uninsured motorists. Here in Texas and Houston, man, there's a lot of people driving around without insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean a lot. And so you really need to have this coverage. If let's say you're in an accident and the other person doesn't have any insurance, most people are not multimillionaires or anything like that. And even people who have some money, you can get a piece of paper against them all day long saying they owe you some money.
A lawsuit,
But how are you going to collect it? So you really need to have your own coverage to make sure you're protected. We see it all the time, and we feel so bad for these people where, we're hired, for example, and we get the police report, we try to find insurance on the other people, and they don't have any. And then we look at our own client's insurance, and they don't have uninsured motorist. Mm-hmm. So they are, they're hurting.
Yeah.
And they're missing time from work.
And they don't have a car.
They don't have a car.
Because their car was damaged.
Yeah. And we have a lot of people who are really concerned about their car. Well, of course, they have to get to work and they have to take their kids to soccer. And
that's the first concern everyone has. What about my car? Well, eventually something will be resolved with the car. But if you're still hurting, the thing about, personal injury accidents, and this kind of case, a lot of people are just afraid to go through the process. They think it's timely. They think it's not necessary. But in reality, it's there to help you and protect you during this kind of situations. So, like, for example, the uninsured or underinsured motorist protection or coverage, you definitely want to have that. It will protect you if the other person doesn't have insurance or they hit you and run off. Or what's another good example? If
well, those are both great examples right there. And so it's just important to have. And so if the state of Texas is saying, hey, to reject it, you have to do it in writing, it's probably very important.
Yes.
So make sure you get that.
And it's also not very expensive. It's, again, just, I think I've seen it, for less than $30 a month, included on people's policies. So make sure you ask your agent about that.
Now let's talk about underinsured motorists.
Mm-hmm.
Underinsured motorist. Okay. So we have a lot of clients, even right now we have several that are really hurt. They have a lot of medical. Now, 2 weeks ago when we talked about liability insurance, we talked about the minimum. The minimum in the state of Texas is $30,000. That's how much one person can get.
Mm-hmm.
So when they have a lot of medical, then what do? If they can only collect $30,000 and they have, $40,000 in medical or $50,000 or a lot more, what's going to happen? And so it's important that you have underinsured motorists to help you out. So you have to be careful. As a lawyer, this is something you don't have to worry about, but you want to make sure that you get permission to settle from your own company. Again, so settle with the third party, with the person who's responsible. And then you get permission from what's called a first party, from your own insurance, and then you can actually make a claim on it. So make sure you have that coverage, because there are people who are really hurt and they just, what can they do?
$30,000 is, wouldn't be enough to cover those expenses, or, even if it's a fatality case, $30,000, it's really not gonna help the family much.
Yeah, can you imagine that? I know that does happen where somebody only has $30,000 coverage, and they cause a wreck, and then the people who either a fatality or just a major injury, which can cost hundreds of thousands, it's still another $30,000 will help. So we do that quite a bit and help our clients with that when they have it. So make sure you have, again, uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist and personal injury protection.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking we wouldn't have time to go over the other ones, but I think we do.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just get this thing done.
All right.
All right, so the next ones are real simple. Towing
Okay.
If you need to get your car towed, you can get that paid for. We don't have that, I don't think, and or rental. That's the next one we're going to talk about.
We have rental
We do have
on our.
rental? Okay. So you can get that. You can get towing. You can get rental. Let me tell you this, that rental actually does give you some peace of mind because if somebody else is responsible for the wreck and you're out of a car, and of course there's an investigation, it might not be very long. It might be 7 days or so, but most of the time you can go get a car and hopefully get reimbursed from the other. But some people don't want to do that. They want to just go ahead and get their rental car right away, and so they can get that through their own insurance, and then usually their own insurance will try to collect that from the responsible party.
Exactly. So I mean, if you want to get the ball rolling as soon as the accident happens, you want to make sure that you have those things available on your policy so you can go ahead and take advantage of it. Your insurance will always, if there's another party who is responsible, will always try to go back and collect, so you don't have to worry about that. But the thing is, just to be able to have them available to you, you want to make sure that they're on your policy. That will also be, something that you need to look at on your declaration page for your automobile policy.
Yeah, and that brings up a really good point that if you're in a wreck and maybe there's a questionable liability and everybody's investigating, well, your car's sitting there not getting fixed. So let's say you go ahead and get your car fixed through your own insurance, but you have to pay a $500 deductible. Well, what happens is normally your insurance company, these insurance companies, they have basically, I don't want to get too detailed, but they have like arbitration, which means that there's a judge who will make a decision about, who was at fault. It doesn't have anything to do with the juries and for what we do. But it's important because if they find the other person 100% at fault, you're going to get 100% of your $500 back. But if it's more like a 60-40, you're only going to get a percentage, back of your 500.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that is so true. Here's a good comment from Marissa, and this is true. She would like to add that, whenever you do have an accident, if you have a child with you during the accident, get that child seat replaced for a new one. True. Okay. After an accident, you do not want to continue using the same car seat. Okay. And that's something that the insurance company should be able to reimburse you for.
Yeah, that's a great point too, because I didn't think about that. We still have one in a child seat.
Yes, we do.
But it's critical. I mean, I don't want to have my kid in one that, even a minor accident, and it's worth going ahead and taking that extra step to replace it. It really is. And I think that actually you might still be able to donate that one. I don't know, donate's not the right word, but they have some place that maybe collect something else. I know that Bye Bye Baby will take in, or Babies R Us, I know they used to do it, where they will take in your used or, old car seats, and they will give you like a coupon to get something else, but I guess they probably wouldn't take one that was in a wreck.
No. I mean, but they don't resell them. It's like I don't know what they do with them, but I mean, it's not like they put them for sale. It's almost like recycling, or almost like, when you bring in your cans and they reuse them for something else, They make some sort of use of them, but they do not put them for sale. Nobody can use. So that's why it's important not to buy a car seat from like a garage sale.
Okay, so that's 8 of our standard Texas automobile coverages.
The other thing I was going to say, when you were talking about, after an accident, if your car, if you're waiting to hear from the adjuster whether or not, is it going to get repaired? If it's not going to get repaired, how long is it going to be, to wait for the rental car? What if it was a total loss, and then you're out of a car, and then you don't have a rental, and then,
And we talked about that briefly. Yeah. We really did. But look, I don't want to go back all over that. But let's do this, because I will tell you, if it's a total loss, then usually we'll get you a rental car for the time from when the accident happened until the time that they determine it's a total loss.
Yes.
Usually, and then maybe give you an extra day. They think everybody has enough money to go buy a car right away, but that's not true. But anyway, so what I was going to say is that. Be careful about the rental car in that situation.
Yeah. So that brings us to the next one, which is gap insurance.
Yeah, and that's something that's really interesting. A lot of times people are buying these cars, and we all know when you buy a new car, and a lot of them don't make you have a down payment, and they have 0% financing and all these great things. So you drive off the lot and boom, you hit right there. You know that you're going to owe more on your car than it's worth.
Yes.
Okay? So that's going to happen. So if you're not putting a large down payment, now if you put a large down payment and you really reduce it down, you may do without that. For example, when you buy a house, there's something called PMI insurance. But if you pay a 20% down, which is obviously hard to do, but it's, if you can do that, you save money by not having that PMI insurance. It's very similar in this situation.
Yes. So basically what the gap insurance does is it kicks in when the value of your vehicle is less than what you owe on it. So they basically pay for your loan.
Yeah, that's right.
That's basically what they do.
So if your car is worth $10,000 but you owe $15,000, then the gap insurance will close that gap between 10 and 5. So they'll pay $5,000. So it's a good thing if you're buying a new car or even a fancy used car and you owe a lot of money on it and you kind of know what it's worth, you may want to consider gap insurance.
Yeah. So, all right. So we cover PIP, which is personal injury protection. We cover underinsured and uninsured motorist coverage. Towing, rental, and gap.
Yeah, and gap. And I know we're already pretty late. So let me just say this. We'll wrap this up, okay?
Yes.
If you're driving in Mexico, like a lot of our family do, you probably know that your coverage in Texas is not going to cover that.
It ends at the border or like so many miles into the border.
And it gets crazy over there. If you get in an accident over there, you may get delayed. You could even be detained.
Yes.
So it's important to have insurance. Of course, a lot of people don't there, but it's gonna, especially if you're passing through or doing something, you don't want to get stuck somewhere.
Make sure you get travel insurance if you are driving to Mexico or Canada, another country that is not the U.S. Okay.
Yeah.
And don't forget to request your copies of your glove box information forms. This is the information you want to get from the other driver. I can't focus very well here.
And you can, I'm going to put it right over your face here.
Really?
AttorneyMcClure.com.
You just love to do that, don't you?
I know I did it last week, too,
really?
or 2 weeks ago.
Can you guys please tell them not to put stuff on my face?
All right. And so, be sure to fill this out. We still have our VIP program we mentioned, but be sure to fill this out, and you'll get one of these. We'll send 2 of them to you. Because I can tell you that, especially talk to your kids, especially about when they have a wreck, what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Here we are talking all the time, and we have a family member who was in a little wreck, and they just didn't. It's easy to get flustered.
Yeah.
So be sure to have something like this that will guide you. You don't have to really think about it too much. Take pictures like we've talked about. So I think that's everything. I just want to look through. If you have kids that are younger drivers, you better add them onto your policy.
Yes.
Talk to your agent for sure.
Yes.
Because, they're not automatically covered. In fact, they may be excluded.
You do not want to be involved in that kind of situation because then your insurance is just not going to cover. Okay?
All right. The last thing, real quick, things can affect your premiums. Of course, your driving record.
Yes.
Do you get a lot of tickets? You have had a lot of accidents? Your credit score even can make a difference.
Yes.
So these are things where you live. Are you more likely in a certain area to have your car stolen?
Are you a male? Are you a female?
That's true.
Are you under 25? Are you under 21?
Yeah, they're going to make up lots of rules to get the maximum money for sure.
Yeah, so definitely, make sure you talk to your insurance agent. And if you do have your declaration sheet and you want to come in, just have Dawn go over it with you and make sure you have the protection you need. Just give us a call.
Yeah, it's free. I mean, we're not going to try to sell you anything. That's good news. And Marissa says, hey, you know what? You can always throw them in the trash.
You can. The car seat. The car seat. After you've been involved in an accident, we just, briefly talked about it. Either throw it away, cut off the straps.
So that somebody can't use it. It's probably a good idea because they're not going to know it was in a wreck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing we haven't been doing is asking everybody to share. We forgot to do that. We should do that at the beginning.
Share it with your friends and family. If you find this information helpful, please share it on your Facebook. And make sure that, you sign up to get these cards, put them in your glove box, leave them there. You never know when you're going to need them. If you're involved in an accident, pull them out. You'll know exactly what you need to do. Okay?
So, and just next week, we'll have our last week talking about car wrecks and things like that and insurance. Then in June, we're going to try to talk about refineries and the injuries there. What happens?
There was just an explosion. So,
yeah, it's kind of timely, I guess.
Yeah.
For sure. So
we do appreciate, the clients that we do. have from that. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody, have a great day. If you ever need anything, call us. And,
Yes.
and if we can't help you, we'll try to find somebody that's, honest, somebody that's going to treat you right and take good care of you. And if they don't, we'll send you to somebody else.
Yes, we do. And we do follow up, okay?
Absolutely.
So give us a call, all right? Bye.
All right.
So
Bye, everybody.
Talking to everybody. Bye. Have a good one.